Thank you, Mr. Joshua. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. I must sincerely appreciate the efforts taken by AMET University and Tamilnadu Advanced Technical Training Institute. My sincere appreciation to Mr. Joshua Gerard also for organizing this event. In fact, I was watching the last 2 days session. It was quite good. And over 250, 300 participants were there. And I think already now about over 150 have joined this one. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best for furthermore such programs. I'll be taking about 20 minutes time. In this 20 minutes, I'll be focusing mainly on the actual challenges which I faced with my experience. It is not a book knowledge or anything. I've been handling the logistics of petroleum products of Bharat Petroleum and across the country for other industry members as well. That is Indian Oil, HPC, Reliance, etc. as well. So based on that, I'll be explaining that. But normally this is too short a time, 20 minutes. Each slide I will take about 3 hours, 4 hours. But I am squeezing some 15 slides in 20 minutes. Let me see how I can do justification on this one. Okay, over to the. It's not moving, huh? You can see the slides?
No.
I shared the slides earlier. Give me the sharing authority.
Yes, sir, you have been given the access, sir.
Yes. Is it okay now? You can see?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So I'll be covering quickly on the common challenges across the world for petroleum and the infrastructure in India, that is the retail outlets, refineries, mode of movement, logistics process, and the day-to-day challenges which we have. In fact, the day-to-day challenges, each and every year, different challenges are there. We can't spell out so many challenges. And then what sets logisticians successful? These are the main areas I will be covering. So looking at this, see, the energy demand is ever growing. And oil demand, if you take the normal demand, per 87 million barrels per day. And it's likely to increase in the next few years to 110 million barrels per day. The current reservoir productivity, however, is declining at the rate of 3.5%. While the demand is increasing, productivity is reducing. To make up this shortfall, we need about 65 million barrels per day of new fields. This has to be added in the next 3 decades. And the total capital required is about $20 trillion US dollars. So with this worsening situation of fiscal terms, the unconventional resources, that is the old method of producing crude and making old refineries in the world, and the corporate social responsibilities like various rights of human rights, employees, stakeholders, environmental protection, that is very important, corruption issues, transparency and all that. And the alternative fuels are not yet seen. I mean, electrical vehicles and hydrogen and all is being looked at, but nothing serious has happened. So the energy demand is going to be a major issue in the future. That is one major challenge for the energy assets in the world. Coming to the fuel logistics infrastructure in the country, in the country of India. I don't know, maybe outside the country also many people must be participating in this. I'm focusing mainly on the country of India. So the number of petrol pumps in the country is about 65,000 petrol pumps. The ministry plans to add at the earliest another 80,000 petrol pumps, maybe in the next few years or so. These petrol pumps are all owned or operated by about 8 of the oil companies: IOC, BPC, HPC, Naira, Reliance, Shell, MRPL, and NRL. So this is 65,000 petrol pumps. The product has to move from various corners of the country. How it goes, I will show you. This is the refinery position. Various refineries which are across the country of each and every oil company. For instance, BPC, which has 4 refineries, that is in Kochi, Mumbai, Bina, and Numaligarh. That is in northeastern part of the country. this company has to move the product across the country. They have about 18,000, 20,000 petrol pumps. It has to move the product across the country. Likewise, HPC also has 3 refineries, Vizag, Mumbai, and Chennai. They also have to move the product across the country. How do they move it? Let us see. Similarly, this all goes with Reliance, IOC. Now, this is the number of refineries each oil company has. The total refineries are 23 in the country. Production capacity is 255 million metric tons. If you look at this, these are the various refineries. If you see the right-hand side, the refinery shadow, the refinery production capacity, IOC has got 31%, BPC 14%, HPC 11%, and others as well. Others are there. But if you see the marketing capability or current marketing share of each of these companies, IOC, BPC, HPC has about 90% of the market. That is, IOC sells about 45% of their petroleum products, while the refining capacity is only 31. BPC has 14% refining capacity, but they sell about 22%. In the market, HPC also about 20% with 11%, and others only 10% of the market. So while the refining of these 3 oil companies are low, they are marketing much more. How do they do this? There has to be an exchange between amongst them. That is on a continuous basis, it happens. Now, another idea, what are the various modes of movement? There are 4 modes of movement. This pipeline, rail, road, and the refinery road also is there. So I'm coming to the fuel ports. These are the ports available. There are 22 ports across, 22 ports. And these ports, we move the product by, these are the ports which are available for each of the oil companies. There are 22 ports where the petroleum oil can be taken. Petroleum products can be taken by the oil companies. This is moved by white oil tankers, coastal tankers, 20 tankers which are there of IOC, BPC, HPC. Black oil is 5. I'm mainly focusing on few major products only. Petrol, diesel, and kerosene, where 70% of the volume is moved. Yes. This is moved coastally, but 100% is not moved. Roughly around 15% is moved by pipeline. Next mode of transport is rail transportation. The rail, as such, there are about for the freight segment, 9,200 trains. Of that, only 190, about 200 rakes only are available for petroleum movement. With this 200 rake movement, we move quite a lot of product. I will explain how much we move. We have loading terminals of 41 across the company, all the oil companies put together, including Reliance and the SAR. And rail-fed depots, various depots across the country, we use 163 depots to move the products from various positions. At this juncture, I will say in the last few years, we have increased the capacity of rake loading, rake capacity from 48 wagons to 49 and 50. And we also increased the volume capacity of each wagon from 24 KL to 40 KL, so that we position the product much more faster. Okay. Coming to the oil pipeline as such, this is the next mode which we use. The pipeline, we have roughly around 14,000 kilometers of pipeline. 33 pipelines are there, with all these oil companies moving only white oil. Some of these pipelines are as much as about 1,500 kilometers, right from Mumbai to Delhi, or beyond Delhi also there is one pipeline. From Cochin, Coimbatore to Cochin and Karur, its pipeline is there. From Vizag to Hyderabad, pipelines are there. In this one particular pipeline, we pump petrol, diesel, kerosene with the interfaces and various other combinations. We bring it. We drop it en route in some of the petrol pumps, some of the depots, and then move it forward. This is how we move by pipeline also. And the next one is by road. Road, we have about 55,000 trucks which move kerosene, MS, and HSD, petrol and diesel. These are the various oil companies. We move with this 55,000 trucks, we move the product to roughly about 65,000 retail outlets across the country from various depots. So now, mode-wise share out, if you take, India moves by pipeline 49%, by rail 34% of the volume of the product. By coastally, we move 15%, I said earlier, and by road 2%. Whereas in US, maximum movement is by pipeline. 70% of the volume is moved by pipeline. Mostly they move about 22%, while in India, 15% is moved. Rail and the road is very marginal, very minimal. This is how the distribution takes place. It's a various combinations. From the refinery, you go by use the pipeline to pipeline TOPs. From the pipeline TOPs, you take it by rail to very smaller depots, which are in various cities, 3-tier cities, 2-tier cities. And then from there, you move by trucks to the petrol pumps. These are various combinations are there. Sometimes pipelines are not there. You move by rail to major terminals and by road to depots and again to the petrol pumps. These are the various combinations which we move the product. Coming to the complexities, we'll have to keep in mind what is the demand of the market. For instance, the demand may be very high in East India, while the demand at a particular month may be low in South India. Because there is rain, heavy rain in Kerala or western parts of the country, demand will be low, whereas some other pockets, the demand will be high. We'll have to keep track of each and every location, each and every state, each and every city, each and every retail outlet, each and every petrol pump. What is the likely demand for the next 3 months, next 6 months, next 1 year? And we'll have to make the product available in the major installations. We'll have to first make the crude available in the refineries. From the refineries, we'll have to move the product via various modes and ensure that the product is made available at the retail outlet on time. You will see this 55, 60,000 of petrol pumps. The tryouts are very rare. We ensure that the product is made. These oil companies may ensure that the product is available, which they move from one end to another end. Even sometimes from Kochi to Assam, the product moves. Kochi to Kashmir, the product moves. From different parts, from Vadina to Chennai, the product comes. The product in different places accordingly. Supply management also, we'll have to see what product, what quality of crude is required. What quality of crude has to be. 1 second. What type of crude has to be purchased at a particular period. Sometimes some particular products, the demand may not be there. In the off-season, the rainy season, as I mentioned, during the month of June, July, August, September, the demand will be low. Other months, demand will be more. So you'll have to position the product, produce the product accordingly, and move the product in the market. At the same time, inventory management is very important. You can't keep the product in an open space. It has to be in a particular type of tanks only. Unlike other products, you can't store anywhere in any warehouse or in an open space. Only in those things, limited quantity only, you will be able to position, keep the inventory. Crude management is very important. Now, the complexities, if you take, there are demand forecast accuracy and inaccuracies. Accuracy is very important. Balance between one source. I mentioned the refinery capacity is less, whereas the marketing requirement is more for some of the companies. You'll have to purchase from others. Refinery, sometimes there will be high risks. Suddenly the refinery plant shutdowns are there. You will have to plan for the product. Sometimes unplanned shutdowns are there. Some rupture in the refinery. You will have to position the product in that market. For instance, sometimes I have had cases where one of the refinery in Vizag caught fire, Numaligarh caught fire. We have to position the product there. Similarly, rake availability. Rake availability, the railways will see which is best suited for them. 190 rakes only as given. They will give preference for fertilizers and other essential products priority, and they may not give priority for us. Pipelines may rupture. Pipelines, there may be some theft. Batch stations issue. All those things are there. Port congestions, in case of vessel movement, port congestions, cyclones, hurricanes have to be taken into account. In terms of road, various issues like the bans, strike, you can't have excess trucks. If you have excess trucks, you will not be able to meet the requirements of the truckers. They will be on a loss. You can't have shortage of trucks. If you have shortage of trucks, you will not be able to meet the requirement of the general public. So there should be no dryouts, tankage limitations at locations. Some of the examples which we have faced. I mean, very, very paltry number which I'm showing here. Thousands and thousands of problems we have. At the times of cyclone, for instance, Varda cyclone in Chennai, CRUDE cyclone in Vizag, hurricanes, Srinagar floods, we have to position the products. For instance, in Srinagar floods, very important thing which we did, was whether there were no trucks movement from Jammu to Srinagar. We used to airlift the LPG cylinders from Jammu to Srinagar. And Hudud cyclone or Varda cyclone, the ships never used to come, did not come for some time, more than a month in Chennai. Vizag ships did not come, wagons did not move. We mobilized thousands of trucks and then move the product, ensure that product is available. Refinery fires, as I mentioned, rail bunds are there, sudden issues will be there. All India transporter strikes is another area, which is a regular issue. We have to tackle it. Coming to this one, the brief on the India brief on crude. India's third highest crude oil consuming countries in the world, next to US and China. Fourth top refining capacity countries in the world is India, after USA, China, and Russia. And in terms of crude oil proven reserves, we are 22nd. So we have to purchase, we are dependent on others. In crude oil producing countries, we are 25th. We are dependent on others. We purchase crude also from others. Final product also is from others. India's total production from indigenous crude is 35 million metric tons only, whereas the demand consumption, the total demand domestic consumption is 205 million metric tons. So the percentage self-sufficiency is 17% only. Balance 83%, we have to depend on others in terms of purchase of crude, positioning of the final product, whether it's LPG, petrol, diesel, or any other product. However, despite this COVID, the current problem which we have been positioning a product. Whether we have had number of ships lined up at the time in the month of March when the COVID was came in, and it got stuck. Ships got stuck. At the same time, wherever the product was required, we continue to move. Road infrastructure was one thing which the ministry gave priority as an essential product. Petroleum products move, including bitumen also move, number of commodities. And one thing is whether any other commodities are there or not there, whether any other business is there or not there, movements will happen. Various products will move. And this is not peculiar to petroleum products. Any product. We talk about e-logistics, and everything cannot be e-logistics. Physical movement has to happen. It is not only the various type of apps and various type of programs which will help out. Physical activity, the brains of human beings are very important. Each and everyone has to contribute well to see that logistics moves very well. The role of supply chain, the right quality, right quantity, at the least cost, right time, and at the right place, the product has to be kept. One of the areas which is neglected, it has been neglected in the past, maybe about 10, 15 years back, logistics was neglected in the past by businesses. That was not too important an area, but no more. With focus on logistics, any company you enter, you can reduce the total cost of supply chain or the logistics anywhere easily from 10 to 40% easily. Now the opportunities, I will say that areas of transport opportunities, I will say there are many. In terms of passenger transport, quite a lot is there. In terms of materials or products, which is transportation by road, maritime, port operations, warehousing, postal courier service, air cargo, pipeline, inventory control, everything is there. And one important thing is we expect the share of India in the businesses, in the industry overall will increase with the current problem. Many industries, many companies are shifting to India, leaving, planning to leave China. And at the same time, for your the participants who are attending this program, I will say, I mean, the greener pastures are in India itself. There is no need to run around for. Yesterday, I was listening to someone, which country is the best place for the logistics? I will say India is the best place right now because of this COVID, which unfortunately has affected the business across the world. It's not affected only in India, it is affected across the world. Priority will be given by the respective countries to those who are living there, those who are there, or their own countrymen. That is a natural thing which will happen. But in India, the India business also will improve. So the opportunities are more in India. So you please look in some final slide, which I will look into this. I'll highlight this. The knowledge, please keep updating your knowledge through various modes. Nowadays it's very easy to update your knowledge, but you'll have to understand in logistics. This is not a simple job, highly pressurized job, but you'll have to work smartly. I've handled logistics for 20 years. I have no BP, I have no sugar, no diabetes. I'm handling it very well. Okay, work within the tight time frames to fix the problems. That is, you must be fast, quick. Unlike in marketing and sales, where you see the results after 3 months, after 6 months, after 1 year. In terms of logistics and operations, you see the result then and there, the same day, immediately. So you feel the satisfaction immediately. A high level of responsibility is required because the general public or people are dependent on your movement. Long working hours, but needs to be smart. Range of salaries, that will be there. I mean, as you gain experience, you contribute well, your salaries also will improve. A lot of roles are male dominated, but this imbalance is improving. What sets successful logisticians apart? The 6 behaviors which are important for the participants who have to grow in logistics, who are focusing on logistics is assume operational leadership. You have to be right from the day one. You will have to learn, pick up the tricks, pick up the problems, how to sort out, and gain experience in that one. Taking charge of the job, aligning with the stakeholders who are others, whether it's marketing, finance, logistics, operations, sales, whatever it is, you will have to align, and your customers, warehouse owners, other partners, everyone, the government, everyone, aligning is very important. Engaging with the company culture, each and every company you go into, each company has a different culture. It is not the same culture. It's not the culture which you have been brought up in your house. It is not the same culture in your institute. Each and every company has a culture. You have to engage and become part of that company culture. Defining the strategic intent. What is your intent? How do you go about it? And finally, which is most important, is be a team worker. With this, I mean, logistics is a very interesting thing. It is an interesting area of job. It is challenging. It keeps you alive. It keeps you robust. So, I mean, this is one area where you should get into, though my experience is both marketing and logistics. I find the logistics, you see the results then and there. It will be very enriching, and you can go ahead further with this. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Can we ask a couple of quick questions to you, sir?
Yes, please.
I have a question from Chaitanya Vardhan. He's asking whether you could highlight the difference between procurement executive and a person in supply chain. The difference between procurement executive and supply chain.
See, procurement executive is more of a materials purchases. A person who purchases, but supply chain is one who plans completely. Supply chain, they plan right from the inception of, as I said, what is the demand, what is the supply. This is a planning which takes place in the supply chain. They plan what crude has to be purchased, what product has to be purchased. They tell which road, by whether which mode has to go. Whereas procurement is purchased directly based on what supply chain says. It has to be bought from one place, certain things, certain type of crude has to be purchased, certain type of product has to be purchased. The procurement guys or the logistics guys, they purchase the product. That is the thing. It is more on a materials. Procurement is more on a materials, warehousing and those kind of activities. Yes.
Next question is from Saravanan. He wants to know whether what would be the impact of COVID-19 on the logistics industry globally and about the job opportunities post-pandemic.
Globally it is affected everywhere. Like right now, the production of petroleum products has reduced drastically. Even in India or otherwise also, it came down to about 60% of production itself, the petroleum products. In India also about 60%, 50% it came down, even 30% also it came down. But now it has started rising up because the lockdown is opening up everywhere. It is rising up. It is around about 70%, I will say. In some other countries, in India also it is about 70%. It will, I mean, you can't say that, but now social distancing is very important. We're keeping the social distancing and other parameters in mind. You will have to work. I mean, you can't be without working. Business has to go on. This we do not know unless the proper vaccine comes. The business has to go on. It's already affected. The economy across the world is affected. So we'll have to do it. As it goes on, the demand will go up, but it may not be to the extent of what it was pre-COVID. I think it will take at least another 1 year easily to come back to the pre-COVID position. And what is the second part of the question, Mr. Joshua?
The number of job opportunities, according to you, what do you think would be the job opportunities available?
See, as I mentioned, businesses will come down. If you take the Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 500 is always there. Companies will go and come, but new companies will come. Old companies will go, new companies will come. When the companies come, any companies come, logistics will be there permanently. Right from the time when the caveman was there, logistics was there. Till the time the mankind is there, logistics will be. The movement is important. Without logistics, he is the backbone. He is the backbone of any business, anything, any happenings in the country. Whether it is services or other things, logistics will be there. There is no dearth of business opportunities in logistics. Yes.
So thank you very much for spending your valuable time with us today and sharing your experience in BPCL and how the shipment was transported throughout India and what are the challenges you faced. It was a very wonderful experience which you shared with us. Thank you once again for your valuable time, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Joshua. Thank you and wish you all the best, Tatti and AMET also. Wish you all the best. Thank you. Right.